I'm gonna do it again because I got to break Kevin's new record. I got to get back on the stage because this new record that Kevin got, I got to have it back, Kevin.
I've talked to him. Eddie, what the you doing? Get on stage. I don't know, man. Maybe.
But Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you.
We ain't buying it. And Kevin, you can't just sweep this one under the rug. Yeah, Kevin Hart's been everywhere in comedy, but lately, that spotlight's been scorching, not shining. His name's buzzing, but not in that selling out arenas. Kinda way more like side eyes and whispers from some of the biggest legends in black comedy, and it's turning up quick. In this game, 1 minute, you're the golden boy. Next thing you know, the jokes ain't playful, they're pointed. Kevin's been looking real uneasy lately, and now folks are asking, what's got a millionaire comedian sweating bullets over a couple punchlines? Well, it's about to get spicy. Word on the street is Eddie Murphy might be stepping up to say something, and that ain't nothing light. Remember when Katt Williams lit Kevin up? That might just been round one. Kevin tried to clap back earlier this year, but if you watched closely, man looked shook. Now with Eddie on, maybe more comedy heavyweights getting ready to speak their piece. Kevin might be stepping straight into the fire. Let's talk Eddie Murphy for a second. A legend, cool, chill, and never the type to jump into drama, unless it's serious. So if Eddie's getting involved, best believe something real is bubbling. And yeah, he and Kevin go way back, meet Dave days. Good vibes and mutual respect. But even that history ain't stopping Eddie from pointing out some real shady behavior. So what's the real tea?
We heard of a comedian that came to LA, and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading. No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is?
People been mumbling for years. Now maybe Kevin got a little too good at playing the Hollywood game. Too close with the right suits, too quick to climb. And this ain't just about being smart, it's got a darker undertone. And Luke, been around since forever. He's seen the back doors, the deals, the dirt. So if he's saying something's off, it probably is. Now let's rewind to when Katt Williams dropped that bomb on Club Shay Shay. He didn't hold back. Katt straight up called Kevin an industry plant. Broke the whole thing down. Said Kevin's rise was way too clean, way too fast. A sitcom, major movie roles, Soul Plane all in his first year in L. Katt was like, who else you know pulled that off? And the answer? Nobody. Not then. Not now. Then came the knockout line. What do you think a plant is? That quote alone shook the table. And if you're still trying to figure out where the beef started, let's take it back 2008. Fool's Gold. Katt was set to star. Ran into some legal drama, had to pull out. Guess who slid right into that role while the cameras were rolling in Australia?
He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA, and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading?
Kevin Hart. That was the moment the heat really started bubbling. Once Katt started talking, he didn't let up. This wasn't just petty jabs. Katt was calling out the entire system. He said it straight. The game's twisted. Some folks play dirty and still rise, while the real ones get left behind. Just because somebody's rich and tapped in with the gatekeepers doesn't mean they're speaking truth. And Katt, he warned us, that's where it gets dangerous. When powerful people start twisting the story to fit their image. But Katt ain't naive. He knows the risks of calling this out. He knows folks will try to label him bitter, jealous, or crazy. When they asked him if he was scared of the fallout, he dropped a line that froze the room. Satan can't create anything that includes blessings for his people. Then he hit even harder. Said the #1 job of someone who sold their soul in Hollywood is to pretend it never happened. And this whole Kevin Hart is an industry plant thing. That's not new. That theory's been circling around for years. There's even this wild rumor that some stars get pressured to wear dresses on camera, like a twisted initiation to unlock the next level of fame. And guess what? It's not just Katt saying it. Dave Chappelle's been ringing the same alarm bell. So, now that multiple comedy legends are hinting at the same shady playbook, people are starting to ask real questions.
You know what? I was actually one of those comedians that said, no, I wouldn't wear a dress. There's no way.
Dave Chappelle and I said that they tried to make him wear a dress.
You have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross. I know what they are. You gotta know that you're a brand. You need to protect your brand at all times.
And then when proposed with the opportunity of what I felt was funny, nobody made Martin put on a dress and nobody made Tyler Perry. It was a choice.
Back in 2006, Dave Chappelle went on Oprah and dropped some heavy truth bombs. He explained why he walked away from that mind-blowing $50 million Comedy Central deal. And nah, it wasn't just about the cash. It ran way deeper. Dave made one thing crystal clear. When the money hits that level, there's always strings attached. He's been in the game since he was 14. He knows every angle. He talked about how celebs like Mariah Carey signed massive contracts and then suddenly got hit with the crazy label. Or how Martin Lawrence once sitcom royalty, ended up out in the street waving a gun, yelling folks were after him. According to Dave, that stuff ain't random, it's part of a pattern. And when Oprah pressed him about it, Dave didn't sugarcoat a thing. He said, "It always seems to happen right when someone's about to level up big. That's when the pressure starts." Producers started pushing him to do sketches that didn't uplift him but made him look like a joke. But that wasn't even the wildest part.
When Kevin Hart broke your stand-up box office record.
What record did he break?
He said he broke some record of your box office sales for stand-up.
I don't know. What did he break?
Dave shared a moment that changed everything. He was filming a movie with Martin Lawrence, walked into his trailer, and boom, there's a dress sitting there. At first he thought it was a mistake, but nah, it was for real. A scene where Martin's character breaks him out of jail by dressing him up like a woman. Dave was like, "Nah, I'm not doing that." Nobody had mentioned it before, but suddenly, writers, producers, even the director were all pressing him like it was hilarious. Dave stood firm. He told them point blank, "I don't need a dress to be funny." Then out of nowhere, they rewrote the scene on the spot, and that's when it hit him. This wasn't about comedy. It was about control, Dave said. He never had an issue with wearing a dress itself, but he had a major problem with how Hollywood kept pushing black comedians to go there just to stay relevant or move up. That moment, it flipped a switch. He started seeing the pattern, and once it clicked, he couldn't unsee it. And it wasn't just him. Look at the lineup. Martin Lawrence in Big Mama's House, Eddie Murphy doing full dress up, and nutty Professor Jamie Foxx as Wanda on In Living Color. The Wayans brothers glammed up in White Chicks, even that flopped Juana Man. Same script, different actor, but the undisputed king of the dress-wearing game. Tyler Perry, his Medea character, built a whole empire. Now here's where it gets interesting. Right around that time, Kevin Hart was climbing the ranks. He was talking tough about self-respect, keeping it classy, not selling out for cheap laughs. When asked if he'd ever rock a dress for a role, Kevin didn't even blink. Nope.
15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club.
He said, "You gotta protect your image, protect your brand." Even bragged about how he once shut down a skit on a talk show where they asked him to dribble. A basketball said it made him look goofy. Kevin was acting like he stood on something, like he was cut from a different cloth. But then boom, just a year later, he's on Saturday Night Live rocking a dress, playing a 9-year-old Oscar-nominated girl in a sketch. Social media lit up. Fans felt played. They were like, "Didn't you just say that ain't your vibe?" That switch up, it hit hard. Kevin went from never to, well, if it's funny, real quick. Suddenly, the rules changed. Suddenly, it was fine, but fans weren't buying it. When the backlash hit, Kevin got real defensive. He started saying things like, "Nobody forced Martin Lawrence into Big Mama's house," or "Nobody made Tyler Perry play Medea." Even threw in Jamie Foxx's Wanda character for backup. Kevin's whole angle was this: "It was my choice. That's his go-to now. I chose it." But folks in the streets, they ain't convinced. Truth is, Kevin was against it until the checks hit. Before the bag, he had values. Once the money showed up, suddenly, everything was on the table. He used to preach about integrity, brand protection, boundaries. "I seen your socials. Kev, I know how you move." But when that money came knocking, all that principle talk vanished. Like cash was some magic eraser, wiping everything clean. Let's be honest, when the checks stack up, people start showing you who they really are. Just look at Steve Harvey. He once said, "Give me $10 million and I'll embarrass myself all the way to the bank." That's a direct quote, no filter, just raw truth. Back to Kevin, after that sketch in the dress. His career blew up. He skyrocketed to the top, became the highest paid comedian in the world. The lights got brighter, the bags got heavier. People started calling that skit his golden ticket. Some even said he sold his soul. But if winning's the goal, Kevin won. He's still laughing his way to the bank. But just when it felt like the saga couldn't twist any more, Monique enters the scene. Word is, Kevin went ghost when she needed him most. Right in the middle of her war with Hollywood big dogs like Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, she was catching heat from every side, and Kevin, silent. And that silence hit different, cause they were tight like family tight. While Monique was calling Oprah and Tyler out, Kevin was over there getting cozy with them. Was it real love, or just a power play? Rewind to 2020 when Kevin invited Monique onto his Comedy Goldmines podcast. They kept it real. She opened up about the grind, the blackballing, and all the snakes in the biz. And Kevin, he showed love, said she was like a mix of a mom, a sister, and an aunt. And he didn't stop there. He said, "I don't really know Oprah like that," but promised to reach out to Tyler Perry. And he did. Came back with an update. Tyler was ready to let it go, move forward, leave the beef behind. Kevin played the role of mediator, telling Monique, "Let's stop looking back. We've got bigger things to do." Sounded like a fresh chapter. Then came the kicker. During an interview with Shannon Sharpe, Monique revealed Kevin took it even further. He offered to back any project she wanted. said he'd even executive produce it himself. According to Monique, he told her, "Forget the past, let's move forward. Whatever you want to do, I got you."
I was actually one of those comedians that said, "No, I wouldn't wear a dress. There's no way I would wear a dress." And then when proposed with the opportunity of what I felt was funny, I thought, "Oh, that's funny. I'm gonna do it." It's all about choice. You know, nobody makes you do anything. Right. Nobody says this is what you got to do. This is the only way that you.
And he actually put some skin in the game. Yep. Kevin loaned her a big chunk of cash. Monique, being solid, paid it back with interest. Everything looked cool, until a WASN single quotes to Kevin had promised to help her reboot her talk show. Monique was excited Kevin Hart's name attached. That's instant power, she told her production company, Endel. They were fired up. Doors were opening. But then bam, 2 weeks later, Endel hits her with the curveball. Kevin's manager, Dave Becky, called them up and said Kevin was pulling out. Cold feet. Just like that deal off. Monique was confused. She hit Kevin directly, asking what's up. All he said was, "Don't worry, we'll talk Tuesday." Well, 2 years later, still no Tuesday, no call, no project. Just silence. Fans started putting the puzzle together. Some straight up called it what it looked like, fake love. The receipts started stacking. Remember when Kevin said he didn't really know Oprah? Plot twist: after his 2019 car accident, she sent him flowers, not just a casual bouquet, either. Kevin talked about it during a sit-down with Ellen, said after the crash and surgery, everyone reached out, but Oprah's flowers, those stood out. He joked that those things turned his house into a jungle. They were so alive and wild, it became a running gag. His family had to eat dinner on the floor because the flowers took over the table. But here's the thing, after all that, Kevin still claimed, "I don't really know Oprah like that," and people, they weren't buying it, because something wasn't adding up. He claimed he doesn't really know Oprah that well, but folks weren't buying it. Something just didn't sit right. Then the whispers began. Some said Kevin had sold out, basically handed over his soul to Hollywood's heavy hitters, Oprah and Tyler Perry included, helping that could have risked his spot at the top. So maybe that's why Kevin stayed quiet, to protect his seat at the table, to really get the Monique versus Hollywood drama. We gotta rewind to 2009. The movie Precious, produced by Oprah and Tyler Perry, directed by Lee Daniels. Monique was fire in that role. But the drama started when they allegedly expected her to travel worldwide promoting the film for free. She got paid just $50,000 for the whole movie. And when they asked her to hit press tours, she shot back, "That's not in my contract." They tried to sweeten the deal: luxury hotels, fancy perks, but Monique stood firm. She said, "I've got a comedy tour, a talk show, a family." She thought they'd call it a day, but then came the real ask. "What's it gonna take to get Monique to France?" Her husband replied, "Is there a number attached to that?" Hollywood answer, cold as ice, "We don't pay for promotion." For Monique, it wasn't about the money. She did the role as a favor to a friend, but she kept it 100. Even America knows nobody works for free. When she refused to pay her own way, Hollywood flipped the script, labeled her difficult and demanding just for setting boundaries. While Monique was getting painted as a diva, Kevin was dealing with his own heat. Rumors were swirling on the streets about his ex-wife Tor Hart and his current wife Iniko. Back in 2011, Tor filed for divorce, and it wasn't just one mistake. Word was, Kevin had been running wild with multiple women, and Iniko might have been in the picture before the ring. Tor later opened up, saying she thought they were building a power couple, but all she got was betrayal. What made it worse? Watching Kevin rise billboards, movies, red carpets while she was left picking up the pieces. And she wasn't just some stay-at-home wife, either. Tor was grinding behind the scenes, writing jokes for Kevin's stand-up, helping with movie scripts. But did she get credit? Not once. Rumor is, Kevin used her material to build his empire, then spent the money on side chicks. The disrespect peaked when Kevin joked about cheating in his comedy sets. Imagine helping someone rise, then becoming the punchline? Then, here's the twist: Tor linked up with none other than Katt Williams, Kevin's longtime rival. Yep, she's now on tour with Katt, not just a guest. She's part of his Dark Matter tour. She made it Instagram official, posting a pic calling Katt a good friend. But it wasn't just the post, it was the clip she shared from Katt's Club Shay Shay interview, the one where he dragged Kevin and others. When Kevin was asked about it, in an interview, he tried to play it cool, gave the usual mature response, but you could see it on his face. That tight smile, the low energy, he was definitely not feeling it. Bottom line, Kevin might act like he's brushing it off, but these scandals, they're sticking. Fans are watching. The narrative is shifting. If you're still locked in, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, drop a comment, hit subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss the tea. Catch you in the next one.